Collaborations are a great way to share the joy of making music. Today I want to show you how I tend to approach them. So there's a few different tracks that I want to talk about, but the example track is going to be this one here. This is the project for a collaboration that I recently started with Mortec. And when it comes to collaborations, I personally like to work with one other person. There are also people that like to approach collaborations with 3 people or 4 people or 5 different producers, which can also be an interesting approach, but I'm just going to tackle one-on-one collaborations for now because that is what I have experience with. Now, personally, when I find collaborations, the way that I tend to do it is through the Eclipse label. Because we're all working towards the same good of growing the label, we tend to work together in that regard. And from there, collaborations are started. And within this project, this was also the case. This was a collaboration that I personally started, and then I sent it to Mortec, and then he sent it back to me. So now I'm working towards finalizing all of the ideas in the project, and then I'll maybe send it off to Mortec once more. That is something that we'll decide upon in the future, and that is immediately the first tip that I can give you. In that, working step by step and making decisions step by step together is of course very, very important. At the end of the day, you're making a track that both of you should be proud of, and that both of you should be inspired by. So it's always in your best interest to just consult the other person with big decisions that you're making in terms of how the production is going to develop. Not just within the project like this, for example, ideas on the structure, ideas on the main theme of the track, ideas on the main kick and bass of the track, ideas on the main flow of the track. All of those are individual production related ideas, so they happen within the DAW, but also the stuff outside of the DAW is important. One of the things that is of course very necessary is that you just get along with the person that you're collaborating with, but also that they're easy to communicate with and that they seem enthusiastic about the collaboration. So here we are in a little bit of a special project. This is the project that I sent to Mortec before we started the collaboration to pitch the idea. What it essentially comes down to is that you want to already create something that is inspiring for the other person to produce from. Because generally speaking, when you approach somebody for a collaboration, they're not immediately in the creative mood and they need something that gets their creative energy flowing. Now what you'll find is that there's going to be some similarities between the different ideas in this project and the other projects, but also a lot of differences. And that is because not only has the other person then taken this idea and has worked on it, but I have in turn taken their ideas and worked on that some more. So to give you an impression of what the project sounds like right now, I'm just going to play a little segment over here. There's some other ideas in the project, like this very bright, very aggressive synth over here. And then we have a triplet segment over here. Now, the reason why I decided to implement this triplet beat is because I know that Mortec is a little bit more progressive than me in his production style. So I know that he would like this kind of thing. And that is one of the things that you're trying to accomplish when it comes to creating an idea for somebody that you're trying to collaborate with. At the end of the day, when you're trying to collaborate with somebody, you have to make some concessions towards them, towards their production style, towards what they like in a track. And they will have to do the same thing to you so that you get a combination of the two minds that are working on the production. That is the whole magic of the production being a collaboration. You have two people influencing where the musical idea is going to go, and therefore it's going to take a different path than if it was just decided upon by a single person. I got that so close to being one take, I'm just going to keep it like that. So this is the current production project that we looked at before. This is the project that I received back from Mortec once he started working on it. And one of the things that you'll notice is that it's still in my template. That is because I converted it back into my template. When it comes to sending stuff back and forth, I recommend doing it like that, because then you keep your own organization and then it's easy to work in for you. What I personally like doing is rendering out stems, because that is the easiest inside of Ableton, especially because you might not have the same plugins as the other person that you're collaborating with, in which case stuff may not work in the project if you load it up. That being said, Moortech actually did send me back this original production project, but just with everything frozen that needs to be frozen. And that is also okay, because then of course you can just import your template inside of his production project. And then from there you can just sort and organize everything the way that you want it to. Now, in collaborations in the past, I've done it in other ways as well. Of course, it depends on the person that you're collaborating with. I've done collaborations just sending back and forth stems individually without sending over projects. I've also done a collaboration a long time ago with Darkest Space called The Phantom Menace, in which we actually had Zoom calls where we would call into each other's PC, and then we could see what the other person was producing and what they were doing, and we could give tips and directions in real time. So there's a lot of different ways that you can collaborate in the track, but it's important that you find a workflow that works best for both of you. Now, going back into the ideas over here, you'll find that it's much more developed already. So this is the intro that we heard in the other part. And then over here, the final part is where we have that gritty synth, that gritty aggressive synth. As you can see, it moved around a lot in terms of where it is inside of the arrangement. Before, it would be right after this segment over here, which in itself moved one segment back, in the sense that it used to be that this melodic arp over here transitioned directly into this more aggressive grit synth part over here. Now, in this particular case, we have something in the middle. And then right here in the original project used to be where that very aggressive synth was that we heard at the end of the other project's example. But right now that has moved over here, and it has gained a little bit of an introduction over here as well in the form of what is happening in the fill. So that sounds like this. So you can hopefully see that this is a very developing idea. You can hopefully also see that there's a new kick and bass, that there's a lot more elements in some of the parts that we already heard. And of course, while I'm working on it, Moortech is also providing me with extra sounds that I can put in the track, which is another thing that you can do. You don't necessarily have to send over a whole project. What you can do is render out the master, which is the whole production as it currently stands, and then send that to the person that you're collaborating with so that they can layer sounds on top of that, and then they can render out just those individual sounds and send them to you. And this is a little bit of a faster way than sending out entire projects or sending out all of the stems. So if a producer just wants to add a sound here or there, they can do that by you just sending them the whole track. They can determine where they want to place the sound, and then they can just send you a stem back of what they have made. So that's everything that I want to talk about in terms of the workflow of actually collaborating. The final thing that I want to talk about is how you find people to collaborate with. Of course, for me, I have the label that I'm currently working on, that I'm currently trying to grow, so are the other people. And therefore we get to collaborate with each other because we can bounce different ideas off each other and work towards one common goal, which is to grow the label. And of course, if you have something like that, if you have a group of friends that is doing the same thing, then that's a very good way to find collaborations. The other way is to find collaborations inside of the community, and there I can praise my Discord server, which is over 1,000 members, meaning that there must be a person that makes the same kind of music as you willing to collaborate with you. Now currently I don't have a specific channel for this purpose set up to find people to collaborate with, but if that is something that is of interest to you, I might want to do that, so that I can provide that service for you directly in the Discord in a dedicated channel. But for now, you can just ask in the general chat if there's anybody that wants to collaborate with you, or you can start browsing the feedback channels and find people that you like the music of and ask for a collaboration. Other than that, of course, there's also other places that you can find collaborations. There's other Discord servers, there's the Reddit, But you may already have some friends that are also producers, which makes it a lot easier to collaborate because you already know each other. So that's everything that I want to talk about for today. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you learned something. Let me know if you did by leaving a like and make sure that you're subscribed while you're there. Another way to support the channel is by watching some more of my content, so I'll leave 2 videos up on the screen for you to choose from. So just pick one and enjoy, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.